July 23rd, 1993, a day you might know for China Northwest Airlines. Flight 2119 crashed and killed 55 people. Or you might also know it from Chris Boardman's cycling world record of 52.27 kilometers in 1 hour. But did you also know this day had a historical impact on the game of basketball? Let's look back to this time of year in 1993, more specifically at the Chicago Bulls and how it impacted them. They just won their third straight NBA championship, and they are led by their star, Michael Jordan. At the moment, they were on top of the world. However, another historical event happened on the day of July 23rd, 1993, that would impact the Bulls from winning championships and would impact their season for the next 2 years. On this day, James R. Jordan Sr. was killed in a carjacking.
Carolina, but police have refused any comment. 4 people have been arrested for stripping and stealing the elder Jordan's car found last week in Fayetteville, North Carolina. None of those charged are said to be murder suspects. Jordan's body was found August 3rd. The Jordan family has released a statement saying they are shocked by the sudden loss. They're withholding further comment while the investigation is underway.
In Lumberton, North Carolina. Mr. Jordan had pulled off the side of the road to rest for a while, and he was shot to death while in his car and was taken to the state of South Carolina and placed into the swamp where he was found.
This man was so important because he's the father of Michael Jordan. At the time, he was the best player in the world and on the most dominant team. This really affected Michael, causing him to host a press conference to announce his first retirement from the game of basketball. Michael Jordan was lucky growing up. He had a father who truly cared about him and was there to support him whenever he could. This only made it harder because Michael really did have a connection with his father.
My decision not to play the game of basketball in the NBA doesn't mean I'm not going to play basketball somewhere else, but I've talked to all my confidants, my family, my friends, as Jerry has just informed you, to the organization. I even talked to David Stern as of yesterday and even today, and I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball. My father, who, as everyone knows, has left us, and I guess the biggest gratification, I'm a very optimistic person. I guess the biggest positive thing that I can take out of my father not being here with me today is that he saw my last basketball game, and that means a lot. It was something that he and I have talked, and my family has talked for a long period of time. He advised me, quite frankly, to retire after my first championship, but we had many discussions, and my discussions was that I still had a lot to prove as a player, and I wanted to win more. At the end of the year, after we won our third championship, we talked once again, and I was kind of leaning towards that direction, and he knew that.
Despite MJ's aura of invincibility, his father was extremely important to him, and his death greatly impacted Michael. So much, in fact, that he decided to retire from a sport that he was the best in the world at. You could say it was due to a lack of motivation, but something that gave Jordan a spark for his father's dream for him. His father always wanted Michael to become a baseball player, so that's exactly what Jordan did.
Thank you all for coming out here today and getting a glimpse of Michael. After watching the progress that Michael has made in the past 2 months, I'd like to announce that the Chicago White Sox are extending an invitation to Major League Camp in Sarasota. He'll be reporting there on the 15th with the catchers and the pitchers. And at this time, I'd also like to announce that we are signing him to a Nashville contract. Michael? I got it.
Thank you, sir.
MJ still thinks about his father every single day. He even admitted that himself. His father drove him, and he tried to honor him by playing baseball. Even when he returned to the court, he wore number 45 because he wanted his father to see his last game as number 23. Even though eventually he returned to number 23, he at least tried for a while. After facing adversity from overall stress, gambling issues, and his father's death, he returned to the Bulls and won 3 more championships. Being one of the most successful athletes of all time, Mike had a great work ethic and was mentally tough, which was a recipe for success in any field, especially helping him whenever he faced adversity in life.
The thing that I looked at, the death of my father, unfortunately, it happened at the hands of another human being, which, in essence, that's very difficult to deal with, just the notion of being able to kill someone. But I had him for 32 years, and he taught me a lot in 32 years. You know how many kids get that opportunity? Very few, in today's society, get the chance to spend that much time with their parents and get that type of influence.
What do you take from your parents? I mean, how does that guide you with your kids?
Obviously my kids are very exposed to things that are totally different than what I was exposed to when I was growing up. But the values should be the same. Knowing right from wrong, understanding what education may be, setting certain goals, being competitive, very considerate of others, very respectful for people, and just, a sense of independence about what they want to be as people. These are the things that I learned that I have to pass off to my kids.